Title IX: The Impact of Women in Education and Athletics by Heidi, Bove, and Kate Emmons. In this documentary, we will be exploring what life was like for women before Title IX, what life was like for women since the passing of Title IX, and what issues women still face today. The research question we will be exploring is, how did the passing of the Education Amendment Title IX in 1972 alter America's political and cultural standing? Title IX states that no person in the United States shall on the basis of sex be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Although Title IX is most famous for funding and allowing women's participation in sports, it also played a major role in providing women with more educational opportunities in fields such as auto mechanics, criminal justice, math, and science. Title IX also gave women more rights against sexual harassment in school. Prior to Title IX, most medical and law schools limited the number of women admitted to 15 or fewer per school. Many colleges and universities required women to have higher test scores and better grades than male applicants to gain admission. Women living on campus were usually not allowed to stay out past midnight. Women faculty members were excluded from faculty clubs and encouraged to join faculty wives clubs instead. In 1960, at age 13, Donna De Verona qualified for her first U.S. Olympic swimming team. In 1964, after having graced the covers of Sports Illustrated, Look, and Life magazines, the Associated Press and United States Press International voted De Verona the most outstanding woman athlete in the world. However, because women were offered few sports opportunities in American high schools or colleges in the early 60s, De Verona retired from her sport and began her career in the male-dominated world of sports broadcasting. Hello, my name is Julie, and today I will be interviewing Donna De Verona about her Olympic swimming career and participation with Title IX. Hello, Donna. Please tell me about your experiences with sexism in athletics prior to Title IX.
Hi, Julie. Thank you for having me today. I was the youngest swimmer to compete in the 1960 Olympics at just 13 years old. During the following Olympic Games, I earned gold medals in the 400-meter individual medley and the 400-meter freestyle relay.
Wow, that's incredible. I can't imagine why anyone would discriminate against you on the basis of sex.
Well, they did. Even after all that I've accomplished, I was not able to obtain a college swimming scholarship because I'm a woman, despite the fact that I set 18 swimming records.
Well, did you do anything to fight back against the inequality?
Yes, in fact, I wrote a letter to the Title IX Commission and became a part of the fight for women's equality.
That's incredible. What is the most valuable thing you gained from your participation with Title IX?
My work in Title IX gave me a voice I wanted to have as a broadcaster, but there was a lot of pushback. My visibility was often threatened. I often got comments about my activism being an issue, forcing me to make choices. Hello, today we are here with Catherine Switzer. Hi Catherine, thank you for joining us today. Please tell me about yourself and your connection with Title IX.
Hi Peggy. I have always had a love for running. I was a 19-year-old journalism student at Syracuse University, and since there was no women's running team, I always ran with the men's cross-country team. I began training unofficially for the Boston Marathon.
Did you get discriminated against for running with the guys?
Yes, but that wasn't even the beginning of the issue. I had always dreamt of running the Boston Marathon, and after studying the rule book and entry form, I found that there was nothing about gender in the marathon. I filled in my AAU number, put down $3 cash as entry fee, and signed, as I always sign my name, KV Switzer.
And what happened when you got to the race?
Well, bear in mind that this was 1967, and Title IX wouldn't be put into effect until the late 70s, meaning I had literally no protection as a female athlete. Had little to no protection as a female runner, I knew the race would be difficult. The first 2 miles of every marathon are always fun. The running is easy, the crowd noise is exciting, and your companions are conversational and affable. Then, just around the 2nd mile, a man with an overcoat and a felt hat was there in the middle of the road shaking his finger at me. He said something to me as I passed and reached out for my hand, catching my glove instead and pulling it off. I knew that was really strange, but nonetheless I continued. Moments later, I heard the scraping noise of leather shoes coming up fast behind me. I jerked my head around quickly and looked squarely into the most vicious face I'd ever seen. A big man, huge man with barred teeth, was set to pounce, and before I could react, he grabbed my shoulder and flung me back, screaming, "Get the hell out of my race and give me those numbers." Then he swiped down my front, trying to rip my bib number. The finish line crowd consisted of about a dozen waterlogged people, none of whom clapped for me, but it didn't matter. I was just happy I finished the race, even if it didn't go the way I had wished. Title IX was Indiana Senator Birch Bayh. He brought the request for equal federal funding for women to Congress, and from there it took off. President Nixon signed the bill into a law on June 23, 1972. Nixon was primarily concerned with the desegregation of busing, which was also a focus of the signed bill. But he did not give as much verbal support or recognition towards the expansion of educational access for women. Nixon, like many other strong political figures, was worried about how the government funding women's education and athletics would affect men's opportunities. The politics of Title IX not only protected women's educational and athletic funding, but also brought awareness to sexual harassment in school. The Dear Colleague letter states that institutions of higher education must take immediate and effective steps to end sexual harassment and sexual violence. The letter gives examples of Title IX's requirements as they relate to sexual violence and makes clear that if an institution fails to fulfill the responsibilities under Title IX, the Department of Education can impose a fine or deny further federal funding.
The United States culture was shifted by the passing of Title IX. 6 years after Title IX was enacted, the number of girls playing sports in high school rose from 4% to 25%. Furthermore, after Title IX was put into effect, the proportion of girls participating in high school sports went from 1 to 27% in 1972 to 1 to 4% in 1978. Not only did Title IX help women become more involved in sports, but it also allowed them to flourish scholastically and professionally. For example, in 2012, the percentage of females who attained a bachelor's degree was 37%, while the percentage of men doing so was only 30%. Title IX is associated with a 1.5 increase in the number of women in male-dominated fields. It is also associated with a 3% rise in women's college attendance and a 2% point rise in the probability of getting a 4-year degree. In addition, Title IX led to a 2% increase in women's employment and a 1.3% increase in women's wages in states with high enforcement.
Since the passing of Title IX, a lot of great things have occurred. In 2001, 41.5% of high school athletes in the U.S. were women, compared to a 7.4% in 1972. In 2001, 43% of college varsity athletes are women, an increase of more than 403% compared to 1971. And also, 69% of junior high school students, compared with 26% in 1933, said their schools have a policy to deal with sexual harassment and complaints. In 2004, women earned 50% of all bachelor degrees, earned 59% of all master's degrees, compared to 49% in 1979 to 1980. In 2007, female participation in intercollegiate sports remains below pre-Title IX male participation. While 170,000 men played college sports in 1971, only about 166,000 women play college sports today.